Check out this entitled Brat Karen who has a mental breakdown after being confronted because she cut the line.
Fucking touch!
I didn't touch you, man.
I was raped not that long ago and I can't stand another man touching me!
Well, no one did that.
Welcome to Racking Our Brains. I'm Paul.
And I'm Abdul. And today we're discussing something that we've been thinking about, and I hope you'll think about it too.
I'm most excited to learn how other people feel about topics I'm passionate about.
We know you have something to share, so leave a comment below.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you get our newest discussion. Welcome back to Racking Our Brains. I'm Abdul. That is Paul. Paul, we just had a good conversation, and I guess for the audience to know, I feel like maybe we've told them this, but maybe not. We started this podcast, number one, we do want people to be thinking more in general and develop a good way of thinking, critical thinking. But a lot of it was you and I talk just all the time, right? And we were like, why don't we record these conversations, right? We have meaningful conversations about meaningful things in our everyday lives and things that are going on in society or whatever. And so this is an episode where we're kind of rehashing a conversation we just had. So why don't you lead in with the video you shared with me, which took us to a few different places.
So we talked about a young lady who felt uncomfortable with the interaction she was having. I think the setup is that she possibly cut the line in front of someone. That person confronted her. Long story short, she's yelling and screaming about how unsolicited sharing the information that she was raped not too long ago, and she can't stand for a man to touch her or be near her or whatever her gripe is.
Fucking touch!
I didn't touch you,
I
man.
was raped not that long ago and I can't stand another man touching me!
Well, no one did that.
I just can't!
Is this a prank?
Is this a prank?
Yeah, he won't go away! He
You're
needs to go
in-
away! He's the fucking problem!
I need to leave.
Just welcome. We'll take you to
I still got. Okay. She threw some of my stuff.
Threw.
Hell if I know. I'm so sorry.
I wonder what happened.
You're not sorry!
She wasn't sorry when she cut in line and then
You!
screamed
I didn't see you!
to make it. Oh, I just asked her if she saw anyone in line.
Just fucking leave!
Wait, she's getting her
That's
way?
an adult.
You're making it loud!
Let's just walk
Oh.
up
I'm just talking.
walk up to
Oh!
Chris. Walk with Chris.
I feel sorry for her man, if she have one.
And we started to talk about several facets of that situation. Number one, how do we respectfully and sympathetically interact with people who have endured trauma? The truth of the matter is everybody's endured some level of trauma. I don't know if we've had this conversation, but I've had this conversation with other people. The word trauma, everybody has a different perspective on what trauma is, right? Like, is trauma somebody punching you in the face? Is it a car crash? Is it having been in war? Is it your parents just calling you fat twice a week for your entire childhood? Like, trauma can be anything for anyone. It seems that way. And it's not really my job to judge what you deem trauma for yourself is, right? But the problem comes into play when you then interact with me and almost expect me to respect your reaction to your own trauma based on an interaction that you and I have. I.e., I think you cut me in a line, so I confront you about it. And because I am a man, you are now quote unquote triggered. She don't think she uses that word, but you feel uncomfortable based on your, interactions in your own life or your experiences in your own life. And so now most people would then skip directly to, okay, well, we need to be sympathetic and just let her yell and scream and get it off her chest, or let her, leave her alone and let her skip the line. And I think it's problematic, right? Like, I'm not going to say it's the worst thing in the world, but I definitely think it's problematic because to me, I think it's somewhat of a slippery slope into just allowing people to find themselves into a space that does not allow them to take responsibility or even have to overcome their trauma, right? Like I genuinely think that's a part of parenting or just the maturation of a person. And I'm going to stop talking soon because I know I'm kind of monologuing, but the maturation of a person is being able to achieve your goals in a way that is healthy and progressive for yourself, but also non-intrusive for other people. And it's not my job to walk around and ask everyone that I could possibly interact with, what are your triggers? What was your trauma? To document those things and then think about them before I have any interaction with them. My job is to treat everyone with respect and try to, be considerate of everyone, 100%. But I think there's a huge chasm between that and, if someone has dealt with some trauma, they can then conduct themselves however they want based on their triggers and the coincidence that I happen to trigger their triggers.
I agree. Next topic. You put that so well, though, honestly. I think you cover a lot of the main things that are my concerns in all of that. The one thing I do want to come out of this that I don't think a lot of people have is the video you sent me. We had seen the original video of this woman at Walmart. I don't know what it was, months, a year ago, whenever it maybe originally circulated. And this one that you shared was someone duetting it, basically just like live reacting. So they have themselves on camera and they literally call this person
entitled Brat Karen.
An entitled Brat Karen, right? Which I think is insensitive. All right. If it is really someone who has been raped or has gone through some serious trauma or is literally just otherwise mentally unwell, I just hope that people develop an eye for, okay, maybe there is someone who, while seemingly just like me and can function and navigate their way through the world, through a grocery store, through Walmart or whatever, there may be something else going on. And okay, there's something different about that person. And to your point, I don't want the world to have to cater to that person, but there just needs to be an awareness, not an immediate dismissal as entitled Brat Karen, etc. Now, as you put it, right, we do run the risk of someone defining their own level of trauma and then displaying or behaving with a sense of entitlement. So it is very, very gray, but that's the one thing that I would want to come out of it is just, I think we do need to be aware of people who are suffering from some sort of mental illness. Literally the tropes of you have someone who maybe has a serious psychosis that is medicated most of the time, and there is a period where they are without medication, and they may be a completely different human being, right? Their brain is just functioning a completely different way, where you are looking around saying, well, what is going on? Like, what happened to this person? I don't know. The other thing I commented about was it is perhaps maybe too deferential, but I was saying, like, the guy recording this is the guy accused of having touched her and triggering, although as you said, she doesn't use that word, the memory or post-traumatic stress of having been raped. And he's just vocalizing that, hey, I didn't even touch you, or whatever else he says. I get it. He wanted to record perhaps because he just wants a documentation of exactly what was happening there. But she yells and screams like you're making it worse, right? I don't know how many times before he hit record, like what their interaction was up to this point, that a Walmart employee is actually talking to her. But I would have left the camera on because I get that aspect of it. But yeah, you're doing no harm. And he didn't do much. Again, he just says, I didn't touch you or whatever it is, or you cut the line. But yeah, there's other times where you have people recording and they're being very provocative and they're trying to like recount everything that happened and really make this person out to be whatever it is, an entitled Brat Karen or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. That was my takeaway. I just felt like I hope people understand that there can be these things, but I completely agree with you. We can't I don't want to say we can't. I don't want to have a world where we do allow people to define their own sense of entitlement.
I think entitlement is a tough word to use. Were you finished?
Yeah, go ahead.
Entitlement. So I wouldn't use that word, although it's definitely prevalent and useful. Useful is the wrong word. It is accurate in many cases. I wouldn't see this as entitlement. Like I think I said before, like I genuinely think that there are spaces where people have not evolved. Evolve is a strong word. Have not matured in such a way individually that they know how to feel a certain way, but filter those feelings into productive, fair behavior with the outside world. And I have no way to do this because I've never been in her shoes, but I don't know if you can't, like, that's bullshit, right? Like, to say, well, you've never been in their shoes, so you can't. Well, then fucking the world just doesn't exist, right? Because you've never been in my shoes. So you shut the fuck up, Abdul, right? And Stacy has never been in my shoes, and I've never been in Stacy's shoes. So we can both tell each other, shut the fuck up. You don't know. You just got to do as I say and take my word for it. I think the entitlement thing is the reason I'm saying, not that it's wrong, but I just want to make it clear that I don't think that people are demanding to be treated a certain way, especially if you genuinely are either mentally, whatever, or just, immature or whatever. I think it's really my really a conversation I want to have with a third party individual, right? A third party who's expecting me, and this might be you right now because you're the third party, maybe in a situation where you're expecting me to be overly deferential, to use one of your words, to this person. I truly agree that, yeah, the provocation, if I'm mature, is not helpful. But at the same time, I do want to defend myself. I don't know at what part of this exchange, if there's a level of restitution or apology or something that needs to happen to the aggrieved party, right? So if there's something that needs to happen, let's just say that her response was to, run over my foot with her cart or spit at me or throw something at me, and out of anger and out of fear. That is genuine anger and fear, and she does something to me, right? She doesn't just get to walk away because she can prove that she was raped, right? Like, you still have to be held accountable. I don't know if she's being entitled or she feels that if you ask her, well, can you spit on somebody who you think, is being insensitive? No, she probably's not saying that. But a third party might say to me, well, you got to understand, she was raped, so just let it slide. No, because the society just fucking crumbles. Not that it hasn't already crumbled, but it's just another example of us not being able to be adults across the board. That is really my overwhelming thought of is can we be objective adults at all points in time? Can we be sensitive and sympathetic, but also hold each other accountable, knowing that society has to function in a certain way for this to work?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think where do I go from here? I think a couple things are important. I like the way you put it, where, I mean, that's probably a bit hyperbolic that society would crumble, but it is important, right? Like, that we can't say, hey, there's just an overall rule that you let it slide if X happened, or you let it slide for this person or that person or this group of people or whatever. But I had that reaction as you were describing the situation. I wanted to say, like, bro, you got cut in line. Like, is it the end of the world? Like, would you have died? He didn't. I mean, it looks like she got to check out first. And even if she didn't, right? Even if she hasn't checked out her groceries or whatever she bought, like, all that time was wasted anyway. He hasn't checked out yet, right? He's still dealing with the situation. But I completely agree. I agree. Like, while I would have let it slide, like, okay, somebody's in a rush. And it reminds me of driving in traffic. I'll get to that in a second. But I would have just been like, wow, okay, that's a little weird, but go about your way, right? Unless I was really in an emergency rush. Like, I ran to the store because somebody cut their head open and I needed gauze or whatever. and cotton bandages or what have you, and I needed to check out and get back as soon as possible, then I'm like, you need to get the hell out of the way because I need to check out first. But otherwise, I'm going to pick up milk, bread, a stick of butter, or whatever.
A loaf of bread, a container of milk, and a stick of butter.
I'm letting them check out. And I will think, wow, it's weird that you just decided to cut me. But yeah, again, at the same time, important. Yes, I don't want there to be this overall, even if it's an unwritten rule, right? Because it's unlikely that would ever be legislated.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Like the rules that are being, the bills that are being, the people who are, this is a completely aside, do not respond. This is solely for our audience if they gave a shit, but don't say it's hard to believe that would become a law, because what pretends to be a mature adult functioning as a representative of thousands, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of other people in the House of Representatives and Congress is absolutely insane. Like, I am genuinely disgusted. Forget about the partisan part. Just on both sides of the aisle. What pretends to be a representative of people for equality and justice is absolutely insane. But anyway, I'm sorry.
That's all right. But yeah, even if that was just an unwritten rule in society, like, hey, if you run into someone wearing a blue shirt and black shoes, like, just let it slide. I agree. I don't think we should function that way. I do think, however, that should be a personal choice. And again, me personally, I would have let it slide. The thing I was going to say about traffic, I think about it all the time when I'm driving. I've seen conversations on social media. I've heard friends and family talk in a certain way. Like, you get people who feel like, oh, if someone's, trying to cut me off or you pass me in the shoulder or something on an exit, like, I just get in front of them. Like, I literally just turn into the shoulder and I block them. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't know what sense of power you're trying to display by saying, like, you can't pass, you can't get through, I'm going to take care of it. But, like, what if that was someone who's trying to get to a hospital or, their wife's in labor or...
I'm going to help him get to the hospital, all right?
Oh, my goodness. So you're one of those? Are you one of those? I'm going to block you.
I'm going to run you off the road like Mad Max and Thunderdome.
Holy cow.
Like Thunderdome.
You're unbelievable. You're unbelievable. It is not worth the hassle.
Bumpers engaged.
I can't believe this. I would have never thought you'd be like that.
First of all, I'm performing for the audience. Relax, bro. I've definitely matured. Back in the days, I'm taking my pistol out and I'm bucking 2 shots into your tires. But no, nowadays it's like, if you want to be a maniac, have fun, bro. I'm getting where I'm going. Yeah,
it's just I find overlap with not only that, where it's sort of like you're doing your sort of own traffic law enforcement by blocking people who are trying to cut around an exit, or the people who think you have to, like, get in line when there's a clear, like, merge process, and if someone decides to do it 50 cars later, it's literally still legal as far as traffic regulations are concerned. And it's the same people, not all, but there's overlap with people who are like, I'm in the left lane, I'm going above the speed limit, if you want to go around me, you can go around me. Like, that's not what the passing lane is for. It's literally the passing lane. And if you see someone coming up behind you and they're moving faster than you, you're the one that needs to move over. So it's that
Wait. Now, I don't want to talk about this because you're wrong, and I want to tell America that you're wrong.
Holy cow.
But don't holy cow me, sir.
I gotta hear this.
Well, first of all, legally, there's no standing for what you're saying, right? So nobody should be going over the speed limit, right? Correct?
No, but the passing lane, assuming all other lanes are...
You're becoming belligerent. Put your hands on the fucking hood. Answer the question. Should anybody be going above the speed limit?
By necessity, yes. To pass someone, you could. Because you can drive the speed limit. Let's assume this is a 2-lane highway.
Are you making up your own rules right now?
No. So
wait. You're saying that if we legally look it up and we ask the question to, how they have WebMD, WebPD, right? And we ask them, is it okay to go over the speed limit to pass somebody? You're saying that the police officer or the law says, yes, it is okay to exceed the speed limit as long as you're passing in the passing lane? Are you out of your fucking mind?
It's to pass somebody,
I
not
don't
to
give a
continue.
shit. I don't give a shit.
Slow
sir.
down. Slow down. Slow down.
I'm telling
I'm
you
not
to
saying
slow down.
stop.
You're speeding up.
I'm not saying that you can live in the passing lane and consistently just pass people for your entire journey. The idea of a passing lane is to get around someone, past them. You are meant to return back to the lane, the other lane, the middle lane, the first lane, the right lane, or what have you. You just need to pass somebody. Not, I'm going to live here and go faster than everybody who's going 65. I'm going to drive 70 the whole way. I agree with you. That
Abdul, I know that you're new to this country, but I'm trying to explain things to you. You can't, like, if the speed limit is 70 and everyone, we're on a 4-lane highway right now, right? We're going to give everybody space. So we're on a 4-lane highway. I don't need to explain anything else. So you're saying that the passing lane should be empty, but if everybody in the 3rd lane from the right, the lane right next to the passing lane, is doing 70, you're saying that somebody can do 75 to get in front of the people doing 70 in the non-passing lanes? Did I explain that correctly? Or
it took me a while, but yeah, I think so.
Okay. So you're saying yes, that if everybody's going 70 and the speed limit is 70, we should allow somebody to go 80 so that they can get in front of other people doing 70.
Yes. We've got research to do.
No, very little. Very little. I am calling the police and I'm giving them your address and your license plate. But anyway, cool. Moving on. So Wal-Mart lady who, we cannot confirm or deny what her previous situation is. We know what her what her actions were, and again, I can't put myself in her shoes and say that how somebody should respond if they've been through what she's been through. But at the end of the day, we're in a society, and if you know that 50% of the population make you uncomfortable, then you need to do what you need to do to avoid 50% of the population. It is not 50% of the population's job to avoid you.